Welcome back to Just Got Radio on BJPen.com. I'm your host, Cole Sheldon. Episode 206 is live ahead of UFC Vancouver this weekend. First up, we're joined by we're joined by Kyle Nelson to review his fight against Matt Frivola. Really fun fight at lightweight. Kyle's moving up to lightweights. We chatted with him about how this all came together and him finally getting on one of these Canadian cards. He's missed the past couple, which he's really looking forward to. And then we close things out talking to Davey Grant to preview his fight against Charles Jourdain. Davey wanted a quick turnaround. He's excited going into enemy territory to fight Charles, who he respects a lot, thinks is a dangerous opponent, but should be a really fun fight that he thinks one of them's walking away with a bonus, if not both of them, for the fight of the night. Be sure to share the show, subscribe, and tune in to BJ Penn's YouTube channel and the website for all your fight night coverage. And thanks again for listening. All right, we're joined by Kyle Nelson, who finally gets to fight on one of these Canada cards. Kyle, how's it going, man?
It's going great.
Obviously, we were talking a bit to obviously you weren't on the past couple cards in Canada. Like, it didn't seem like you were going to get on this one. Like, this kind of fight came together kind of not short notice, but like kind of last minute got announced. Like, were you kind of worried you were going to miss another chance to fight in Canada then for this one?
Yeah, a little bit. We'd been in talks with UFC, for like UFC Montreal and stuff, and we're hopeful for that. And that one didn't pan out. And then as soon as we heard that Vancouver was official, again, we talked to them again, and they said they'd try and get me on. But then, we didn't really hear anything for a while. And then they'd announced so many other fights. I think they had announced like 11 fights or something, and usually they only have 12 fights on a card. So we're like, there's like one spot left. So I was kind of losing hope. But then we got the offer for Matt Frivola, and we jumped on it right away.
Was there any reasons of why you didn't get on the past couple cards in Canada?
Not that I know of. Yeah, no, they didn't. Like, they didn't say like, oh, we've got different plans, or they didn't really explain anything. So,
because like to me, like obviously we live pretty like in a similar area and like GTA, but so I was kind of surprised after you guys the success you guys had in Vancouver. Like, they didn't run it back for that Toronto pay-per-view, and then when you weren't on the Montreal or Edmonton card, like, I was kind of surprised by that. Like, was that kind of frustrating just to see them come back to Canada multiple times and like you didn't get on there or on either of them?
yeah, definitely, man. I'd love to fight in Toronto again. My hometown. The fight I did do in Toronto, like my first fight in the UFC, was on like 3 or 4 days notice. So I didn't really get to absorb it all. It was a whirlwind. Ran in and fought and stuff, and didn't really get to enjoy any of it. So I'd love to come back and fight again in Toronto. And then, I mean, fighting in Canada is always going to be better than fighting outside of Canada. I mean, it's cool when I get to go places like London or Mexico or something like that. And I mean, I'd love to travel out to Asia as well at some point. But I've fought in Vegas a whole bunch. And I mean, compared to Vegas, I'd love to, fight in, again, Vancouver or Edmonton, or, I'd rather fight in Canada than keep going back down to Vegas. But, we finally get to go to Vancouver again.
This opponent surprised me. I didn't really expect Matt to fight, like, to be the fight. Like, did this one kind of catch you by surprise as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, after my last fight, we had kind of let the UFC know that I was interested in moving back up to 155 and kind of doing like a permanent change. And so they seemed on board with it. And then, yeah, like for this Vancouver fight, we got offered a 145 fight. And I was like I love the opponent and stuff. Just, I spent like basically a year, preparing for 155, which meant, building muscle and stuff like that. So to try and change gears and go back down to 145, I don't think would have been possible, at least not for Vancouver.
Mm-hmm. So what has this past year been like for you? Just like adding size, weight, training, and just kind of getting ready for a full-time move to lightweight then?
Yeah. I mean, just training. Now I can start playing around with the weights a little bit again. At 145, I was fairly restricted in what I could do as far as exercise, just because we couldn't add any muscle. Even like in wrestling classes, I'd always have to be conscious of, if I was wrestling with bigger guys, I didn't want to get too like spend too much time picking them up and using a lot of strength. I mean, obviously you want to use technique anyways, but rolling with the bigger guys, I had to be careful. If I spent a couple weeks rolling with the bigger guys and I start putting on muscle, that's muscle we're going to have to burn off or try and get rid of by the time I go and fight. So it was always kind of in the back of my head. And now that we're at 155, I kind of got a little bit of freedom to train even harder. Stay a little more fueled during my training camps and stuff like that. So everything's gone much smoother this time around.
With Matt, like obviously been around a lot, like fought some top 15, top 10 guys in the divisions. Like how happy are you that this is the guy you are fighting and like a legit like guy just outside the rankings at lightweight?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. Like to move up to lightweight and to have him throw me right in there with someone like Matt. I think it shows, how highly they think of me. They didn't, just put me in there with, somebody new coming into the UFC or, someone that far back. Matt has, like you said, he's fought some high level guys, and I think it's a perfect opportunity for me to introduce myself at lightweight.
Where is training camp? Same as always, like bringing anyone different or kind of same routine as always for this fight?
Yeah, just same routine here at House of Champions in Stony Creek. Going over to Niagara Top Team, working with those guys a couple times a week. So yeah, same routine, just different weight class.
And then what's that like to have Jasmine and Mike on the card as well? Like just some familiar faces. Like obviously they have massive fights on this card, kind of Niagara Top Team kind of takeover a bit.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, we all kind of trained together for Vancouver a couple of years ago, and that went great. So I mean, it's always nice when you've got a couple of the UFC fighters in the room and they're on the same date, so everybody's kind of getting ready together. Like Kyle Prepelek's been out a bit too to NTT, so we've kind of got a good chunk of people there, kind of all getting ready for the same card.
Do you worry about ring rust at all? Just because it's been a year, like I know you've had a longer layoff in the UFC so before, so like do you just kind of reflect back what you did there to kind of stay sharp and make sure like that ring rust isn't a thing?
Yeah, like my UFC career, there's been a few times where we've spent like close to a year off, and I haven't noticed. I think I'm enough of a vet now. I've been around long enough. I know how to train. I know how to train to prepare for fights. I know how to train outside of preparing for fights. And I mean, I feel as smooth and as fast and as accurate as ever before. So yeah, I don't think we're going to run into any ring rust at all.
Just quickly, I forgot to bring it up earlier. That last fight, did anything ever happen with like the shots, the back of the head and the elbows? Like, because I know there's talk of like filing an appeal or anything. Like, did anything ever come through to that?
Yep. I mean, we got to the back, like the athletic commission, the UFC all said we should appeal it. So I left it with my coach and my manager, and they appealed it to I believe the Nevada athletic commission, and they kind of like they accepted, like, yeah, unfortunately there was some illegal shots. We have to side with what the ref did in the moment, which was obviously nothing. So they just so nothing happened with that. So I just had to be more careful moving forward. Prepare to try and avoid illegal shots a little bit more. Wasn't really something I trained for before. I didn't train to avoid eye pokes or, back of the head shots, assuming, the ref would be there and kind of, help keep the sport safe. But unfortunately with that ref, we saw obviously what happened in my fight. Shortly after that, Christian Savoy, another Canadian, was fighting on the Contender Series. He had the same ref. He got elbowed in the back of the head a couple of times. He actually got caught on the back of the head, and same thing. The ref didn't acknowledge it at all. So it's just going to be something now that I know going in there. The ref's not going to be like, I never expect the ref to be on my side, but I kind of expect a fair playing field. And now I know that's not going to be the case. So I just have to be like mentally prepared for that.
Do you think there's anything the refs or like the commission can do about that? Like, I don't know if they look at it, like maybe there's another ref looking at it right away and they can like kind of
like in Vegas, they're supposed to have the instant replay and stuff like that. And they always talk about that. I'm not sure what the instant replay is for, because like that seems like what it would be for.
That's why I was like confused by like
Yeah, like you got 10 cameras, like super high definition, like everybody across the world saw it. Everybody cage side. I think the commentators mentioned it. I think maybe Paul Felder saw it, but he thought maybe it wouldn't matter. But everybody saw it. I guess maybe supposedly except the ref. So yeah, I don't know why they don't have any like backup stuff, or again like the replay they keep talking about, but I don't know. That seems like that's what that situation would be for. But no, they just kind of just keep on moving. So
And I don't really think like maybe a lot of fans really know like kind of what the back the head shots do. Like kind of takes your equilibrium out, kind of just it's a lot worse than getting hit in the chin or anywhere else. Like kind of just puts you out. You kind of have really no control over it.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. It was something that I was never. I mean, I'd never really been hit in the back of the head a lot, so it was something I hadn't experienced. So when I was in the fight, I knew like if I stand up right now, I don't know what's going to happen. So I'm going to try and hang out here, cover up, not take too much damage, and kind of wait for this to pass. And then unfortunately, it didn't, and I felt like I did a good job covering up. I never really I didn't take any damage to my face or anything. It was really just the back of the head. And then the ref stepped in and stopped it. I know like Steve was going pretty crazy trying to get the finish. But yeah, like I felt pretty comfortable that I didn't take a bunch of actual punishment. I feel like I was moving well enough and covering up and tying them up. So, but I don't know. There's nothing I can do about it now. I know what can possibly happen in the future now, so I'll just be prepared for that.
Back to your fight with Matt, like both you guys kind of all action guys, should be a pretty fun fight. Like how do you kind of see it playing out?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I'm going to be able to push myself even more at 155 now, being able to train, at my full capacity as opposed to 145, when we're training, but we're also trying to lose so much weight and trying to burn through some muscle. I definitely like the training camp. It sucks. It sucks pretty bad. And my training, my skill level and my output kind of goes down. Like as you get closer to the fight, you end up kind of fighting worse, So it's so much nicer at 155 where I keep my same level of performance, my same output. Like I'm able to build. I'm getting better in the training camp as opposed to just kind of training to make 145.
And what do you think a win here like does for you? Like obviously Matt's been a guy near the rankings, like especially if you finish him, like you could get another pretty big name and make a quick rise up the rankings.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I never know, what's going on behind the scenes at the UFC. Like maybe I win this one and I'm out for another year. Maybe I win this one and they offer me a fight in December. Maybe I win this one, they get me on the White House card. That'd be pretty cool. But I have no clue. Sometimes I do great, and then I end up sitting on the bench for a while, and sometimes I don't do great, and they put me right back in. So I don't. I've got no clue, but I'm going to go in there and do my best and try and put Matt away early and see what the UFC has for me.
And kind of set the card up nice for the rest of the Canadians, like Eamon, obviously Mike, Jasmine later on, like kind of set the table like you did the first time in Vancouver.
Yep, absolutely.
Just final thing, like what is kind of the goal for you going forward? Like I know UFC career, like 11th fight, but it's been like active and then a year and a half off. So like, what is kind of the goal for you next year? Like I imagine just like consistently fighting like 3-4 fights.
Yeah, I mean, consistency is always, I prefer consistency, especially when I was at 145. It was a lot easier. But I mean, I'm gonna, go win this fight. We're in October. Me and my fiance, we've got another baby on the way in December. So, I don't really want to fight in December, but if I could get something just before that, or line something up for January or February, I'd love to keep the ball rolling. But we'll see what the UFC has to say, and we'll take it one fight at a time.
Well, Kyle, thanks again for doing this. I appreciate the time as always.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me on.
All right, we're joined by UFC bantamweight Davey Grant, who's back in action here next weekend at UFC Vancouver. Davey, how's it going, man?
Hey, hi, Cole. I'm great, thank you.
Uh, Obviously, when we talked before that last fight, you were saying everything goes your way, at least one more in this year. Like, how happy are you that you got this quick a turnaround? It isn't like in December or late November.
Yeah, I know. Honest, I was over the moon. It was a lot quicker than what I expected, and the timing wasn't perfect on it because I think last time I was telling you I was moving to Dubai, and
Hmm.
totally changed that, and then moved to Vegas. So I moved to Vegas. I was in Dubai for 2 weeks sorting everything out after the fight. Changed my mind. Thought I need to be at Syndicate where I can train properly. So I decided to move to America instead. Went home for a week, got the kids, and then came to America. And I'd only been here a day, and I took a fight, but I was on my own. See, the wife couldn't make it out. She had things to wrap up back at home, so I was like looking after the three kids, and then took a fight. So like moving countries and single dadding for like 5 6 weeks. It was tough. I'm pleased I did it now, but it was like it was testing. But yeah, to get the fight this quick, this is what I want. I always want to be active. I love my life when I've got a fight coming up.
In front of fans as well. Like, I know you are going into enemy territory, but how excited are you to be fighting
Oh,
back in front of fans?
definitely. Like it's always great to go and fight in the arena, you know. And I've heard Vancouver's a really nice place. And yeah, I'll sort of be the bad guy, you know. But it's all just panto, isn't it? I thrive off all that. It gets more eyes on the fight, and that's what I'm about.
And they're coming at a good time. Like the UFC, like I'm near Toronto. They always come to Toronto at like the dead of winter when it's freezing cold. And I don't know why they don't come here in the summer when it's like more enjoyable for him, but at least the weather will be good for you out there too.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. It's like it's nothing I'm not used to. So but I'm really looking forward to seeing the place. To be honest.
Do you normally stay out for like a day or two after the fight just to sightsee, or do you just kind of head home right after?
No, I usually head home. I'll do a
Yeah.
little bit. I'll get around just fight week. You know,
Mhm.
I like to be out and doing things when I like to save me thinking about food and stuff. So I'll get to see a bit of the place and then straight back home.
Charles Jourdain, were you surprised to get this opponent then?
No, I was excited. I think I mean I'm always looking to go and fight up the division. I feel like he's definitely a worthy contender, and hopefully get the win. Go and fight top 15 next. I think that's definitely on the cards.
Were you surprised that he dropped down to bantamweight? Because I always thought like he was a pretty good sized featherweight. I know he did the fight against Victoriani, but I was pretty surprised when he dropped down to 35.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think he looked big. You know, like I didn't think he looked big for a featherweight. So I'm not too surprised. Do you know what I
Mm,
mean? Like some of those guys, like I've trained with Arnold Allen, and he's a
mhm.
fucking giant. It's crazy how big he is. You know, like so some of them featherweight guys are absolutely massive. So yeah, I'm not too surprised.
And then Charles always likes kind of putting on a show and some entertaining fights. So does that just kind of make it a bit more like fun for you trading? Just that
Oh
it should be a
yeah,
pretty fun fight.
definitely. Yeah, I mean, you never know what's going to happen in the fight, but yeah, I'm going to feel it's just going to be a fantastic fight for the fans.
You fought in enemy territory before, so nothing new. Like, are you kind of expecting to get booed and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it's all just a bit of panto, you know. It's all a bit of fun, you know. It's all good. I don't mind, honestly. It's whether it's like enemy territory or home territory or whatever. You just I try and feed off the energy and like I say, if he's got loads and loads of fans, it's loads more people watching the fight.
Mhm.
Whether it's screaming for me or him, it's more publicity for both of us.
And if it does turn out into one of those like entertaining fights, they'll just be cheering kind of both of you as it's going on, anyways.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's a great opportunity to go and get some new fans with a good, exciting performance.
Obviously, tons of people in Vegas and at Syndicate, like who were kind of the main guys you were working with for this camp.
Yeah, I mean, well, Marab was obviously just got the fantastic win at the weekend. I was doing a lot of his fight rounds, so get to prepare with the chap. You know, like you don't get any better preparation than that. Like, oh, there's so many good guys on the syndicate, Matt. So it's been great to go to be finally living in Vegas and just getting that constantly under the tutelage of John Wood. You know, yeah, it's been fantastic.
What do you think of? I was going to ask you for later, but since it's brought up, I'll just bring it up now. What do you think of Murad's performance? Like, I don't understand how someone could have like that much cardio. Like, I don't understand it.
It's insane. Honestly, it is insane. I don't know what that guy or what planet that guy's from. It's insane the amount of cardio he has, and Like, I think he was fantastic in the fight. Like, he's not, because the exciting fights, the entertaining, everyone's loving watching him. He's looking for the finishes. He's mixing the wrestling in with a strike, and it's not like boring fights. It's always a spectacle when he's fighting. So, I mean, good luck to him, because he's such a good guy, such a good teammate. Helps out everybody in the gym, and I love seeing all of his success.
I guess training with him too is probably a big benefit, because if you can keep up with that pace, like, I imagine the opponent's not gonna bring a pace like that.
If you can go a few rounds with Arab, you can go a few rounds with anybody in the world.
With this one, like, how do you kind of see this one playing out? Like, you and Charles both pretty entertaining guys. Like, how do you kind of see it playing out?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's gonna be a scrap. I'm going in there. I'm gonna try and knock him out. He's probably going in there trying to knock me out. Yeah, which is always going to be good for the fans. So let's just see what happens. Let's just see who's the best on the night.
Well, what do you think a win here does for you? Kind of think like winner of this fight gets a rank guy at bantamweight.
Sorry.
What do you think a win here does for you? Because I kind of think the winner of this fight gets a rank guy.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's 100%.
And then timing wise, like, do you think this is probably it for you this year? Like, I feel like it's pretty hard to get one more in, but knowing you, like, I wouldn't kind of put it past you.
But look, you never know. If I can come out of this one nicely unscathed, and then I'll get offered another fight, there's no way I won't take it. I've never ever turned down a fight in my life, and that's what I'm here for. So I'll stay ready just in case, and you just never know.
Just final thing, like, approaching 40, like, you don't really see many bantamweights get 40, but like, it seems like your speed is like better than it's been. Like,
yeah,
what kind of has been the secret? What kind of like, are you surprised you're still going at this level at this age?
It's crazy. If you would have asked me this 10 years ago, I'd have thought I'd have been done and dusted by now. But it's like, now when I'm actually there, I know how I feel, and I feel fantastic. It's the best I've ever been, and I don't know whether it's like the way that I look after my body now because I know I'm getting older, or just training at Syndicate, or my mindset, or I don't know. It's probably just a combination of all these things, and the age means nothing to me. It's literally how I feel, and I know I'm the best I've ever been, and I still feel like I'm getting better.
It is pretty crazy, because like, you don't see many guys kind of like past like 35, 36 at these smaller weight classes have success, and like, I don't think, like, if they never put up your ages, like, I don't think many fans would think like you're almost 40 at the way you're fighting.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think I'll look like a fight like that. And I mean, if you see me walk in the gym, I'll probably walk in the gym like an old man and walk out the gym like an old man. But when I'm moving around on the mat, like, I keep up with all these young guys, it makes no difference. I mean, I think, like, what Connor said, where it's like, I can't remember what it was. It was like, so it's not the speed, it's the time, and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? It's definitely a part of that. I feel like, obviously, with the lower weight classes, as you get older, your speed starts to decrease. That's why the heavyweights, it's not so much of a hindrance for them to get old. In fact, most of them probably peak late 30s, I'd say, when they're heavyweight. But like, you don't lose your power. So I'm keeping my power, and I feel like my rhythm and my timing is a bit different to everyone else's anyway. I'm not your typical. I don't fight in your typical way. I definitely hit offbeat, and I think people struggle with that. So it doesn't matter if people are faster or whatever. I've still got my power, and then I've got different timing and a different beat to come at you with.
Just final thing, like, I know before your career is over, like, is there any bucket list, like, places, countries, like, people you want to fight? Like, do you have any of that kind of stuff you'd want to check off?
No, I mean, it was always Jose Aldo, a fighter. I've always wanted to test myself against him, just because I was an absolute huge fan of him. Like, to get to that point, it was going to be a dream fight. Like, that's no disrespect to him at all. It's just that's who I wanted to fight. Places, probably Japan. That would be a fantastic place to get.
I don't understand why they don't go there more, for like how rich kind of like combat sports there, kind of pride grew there. Like, I've never understood why that's not like a more frequent thought for the UFC.
Yeah, definitely. It would be cool.
Well, Davey, I appreciate the time as always. Thank you so much for doing this again.
No worries. Thank you, Cole. Always a